Hey everyone, it's Mark from the Done Right Ranch. Let me put these down because I sometimes make noise with them. So I used to play drums a little bit. I was never great. I was never, a rock star or anything like that. But I made myself happy playing at home. I haven't played much in like 6 years. And you know what? It's not like riding a bike. You've got to have, the ability to separate all your limbs. And that doesn't come easy. That's like practicing every day. So I was really bothered here. I think it's been a couple weeks now when Neil Peart died. He was the drummer at the very first concert I ever saw as a kid in 1976. I went to Rush 2112 at a venue that's no longer there in Lansing. It's been torn down, but it was the Civic Center. And it was, to this day, it was like the best concert I ever went to. So it was just great. It was when 2112 came out and they were touring that album, and really good. And you could see the drum set here. That's a little bit because I like Neil Peart, and if Ringo Starr was my hero, then you'd see like 4 drums here and a couple cymbals. So he always played with the really basic kit, and it's the sound that's delivered that matters more than the amount of drums. But because I really like Neil, this is what I end up with. So I've got another set out here in the rec room, and it actually is all mic'd up and, for recording and stuff. There's a mic on every drum, and but this is the one inside my house. And the reason I'm doing this here is to put some pressure on myself. I used to have a friend, and that's why I have 2 sets of drums. I had them set up together, and he was teaching me, and this was years back, and he ended up deciding that he liked some of the things that I had more than he liked our friendship. So we're no longer friends anymore, and I haven't really had any instruction. And on his, he was a good drummer. He was a really good drummer. I really learned a lot from him, and I should have kept playing because I definitely would be maybe at band level now if I had kept playing. But I didn't, so I'm not. So anyway, I'm hoping I'll get some comments and a little pressure to keep learning. I'll try to keep doing some updates. I actually yesterday went up to Music Manor. It's a music store in Lansing. I had an appointment, and I took my first drum lesson from a guy. His name is Derek. He was pretty cool. We seemed to get along good, but it was the first lesson. He did give me this sheet music here that's basically like rudiments, and it's just to give you practice on stick control and stuff. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm kind of making this public because I have a way of succeeding more when people are watching. So, that's my point here. I wanted to do another video this winter, and it could still happen. Today's the 2nd of February, and I've got a snowplow or 2 video out there, and they both have just a couple inches of snow, and we did get a couple inches of snow 2-3 weeks back. There's still some of it on the ground, but it's pretty much the same video again, and so I wanted to hopefully get a foot or 2 of snow, and where I've actually got to get the tractor out and do some digging out and stuff like that. So, it's still possible that could happen. It could still snow late, but winter's been really mild so far. It's been, today it's 46 out. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 45, and then we are slowly heading back down towards the end of this coming week. It's supposed to be around 30 for the high, which, for February, that's still pretty warm here. So even though I still hate it, I like to be much warmer. So this winter, well, it's been a couple months now. I bought a 2013 Escape off of a customer. It had a blowed up engine. It had water in the oil. Car had 142,000 miles. So I bought the car from them for $500. It was pretty much junk. It needed tires, it needed brakes, of course it needed an engine. You know, and a couple other things too. The rear wiper arm was broke. I mean, some minor things and stuff. So I bought the car for $500. I bought an engine and a new turbo for it with 40,000 miles on it. So I backed the clock up on the engine, 100,000. The transmission's still the original one, so we'll just have to see on that. The fluid actually was dark, but it didn't smell burnt at all, so I'm hoping that it just needed to be changed. But it's working fine. So anyway, here's a couple pictures of the car. I'm kind of happy with it. You know, I was going to fix it and sell it. But after I got it all going and got everything done on it, you know, it drives pretty good. It goes down the road pretty silent. There's no noises. I let go of the wheel, and as long as the road is straight, the car goes straight. So anyway, you know, did that this winter. I'm driving that now. My 99 F250, which I primarily drive, is now just kind of parked for when I actually need a truck. And then, of course, I've got my black F350 that I use to pull my trailer, and that's out stored way out in the barn until, you know, my next trip. I've had a few people asking about Diesel, and, you know, he's doing pretty good. Diesel's always been a really happy dog, always happy to see anybody. I mean, if a burglar broke into my house, he'd be so happy to see him. You know, he's the dog that you see in some of the challenge mazes for dogs where they want him to run a course and they put a bunch of treats along the way, and the dogs that don't eat the treats obviously win the course. Well, my dog's the one that would stop and grab all the toys, grab all the treats. If there was anybody standing around, he'd be over there with them, and you couldn't train him to stay on that course with all those distractions. So, but it's kind of humorous. So, he is blind in his right eye. You know, I've got a couple pictures here, but for some reason, it's really hard to see it with the camera. I mean, I can look and I can see his eyes all, but for some reason, it doesn't seem to pick up as well with the camera. But right now, my thing is, I don't know if he's going to have his eye removed. It just depends how much it shrinks down. And so, but anyway, if you guys want to comment for me on something too, I'm kind of torn on this. You know, my dog got hit in my driveway. I don't have an actual fence, but I have invisible fence, and Diesel never once has even tried to cross that line, you know, since his training when he was a puppy. It works really well. I have the original brand of invisible fence, and that matters too. So, anyway, a guy came in my driveway to pick up a vehicle that I had worked on, and, you know, it was after I had closed out in the shop. It was actually Thanksgiving Eve, and it was about 6 o'clock. It was dark out. His truck had been done for a week or more, and he just decided then to come and get it. But when he came into my yard and my driveway, he hit my dog. And I don't understand how that could have happened. You know, if I pull into somebody's yard and their dog looks like it's going to run out in front of me, or which I know Diesel doesn't do that. He's been around cars his whole life. You know, he's a shop dog. So, but I would hit the brakes and I would stop. And if I had to, I'd get out and walk up the driveway. You know, he knew Diesel. He was a customer that'd been here before, so it wasn't like he felt threatened like the dog might jump him or something. Diesel's a pretty happy dog. So here's what I'm torn about. Right now, I'm up to about $550 in vet bills, and if he has to have surgery, obviously that's going to go up. Should I pursue getting this from the guy that hit my dog? He didn't act like it was his fault at all, like it was all Diesel's fault. And you know, this was Diesel's yard, his area of protection. So I'm torn about that. I feel like he's responsible for it, but, you know, some opinions would be nice, and especially some opinions from people that don't really know him or you know, the situation and stuff. So I got one rant that I want to go over here, and it's Schlage locks. Now here's a picture of the lock at my front door here. In fact, a couple of them. And I bought these when I moved in. Now, partly, these are on all my entry doors. I have a door to my garage, I have my front door, I have a back door here, and I have a door to my rec room, and then there's a door in the basement where it goes outside. I have a walkout basement, and every one of them has one of these Schlage locks, except for the back door here just has a deadbolt, but it's the same thing. It's just the way the door is designed. The deadbolt and the handle have some separation, so the deadbolt's electronic. You unlock that, and then you can pass through. So I've got quite a few of these. I don't have a single one of them that works. Now, I've lived here about 6 years. I've changed the battery in all of them at least once. They're supposed to last 10 years. The only one that I have that works is the front door. And it only works in the summer. Right now it doesn't work. Even though it's 45 degrees outside, it doesn't work. When it gets up to around 70 or so, then it'll start working. Right now, I can't even unlock the door with the little button that you turn so you can just walk through. So I bought all these, and they weren't cheap. They were $350 a piece. And I actually changed every single handle in the house with that lever style because I have, you know, from being a mechanic, I have some nerve issues and stuff. And so if I turn a doorknob and I grab it and it turns a little bit hard, I can get a really sharp pain up my arm. So I prefer those levers so I can just push up and down on them. So I switched them all out. That was part of the reason that, you know, I put these on. And then I thought it'd be great to be able to, you know, not have to use the key, which I have to use now anyway. But yeah, out of all of them, there's only one, you know, the one that works in the warmth. So that's kind of a drag. So Schlage, if you're watching, send me some new ones. This is crap. That was a lot of money for those. And yeah, I'm pretty disappointed about it. So I don't really rant and rave very often, but you know, this just kind of bugged me. So I got my bike out here in the garage. I didn't end up putting it in a bubble. I've got it all cleaned up, and you can see here I put a cover on it, and it's still sitting on the hoist. And I've just got some junk stored in the garage, my lawnmower, my quad, you know, and then I've got some other stuff sitting in there. And so I just didn't feel like moving everything around again just to set up the bubble. So anyway, it's sitting there under the cover. Won't be long here. Next couple weeks, I'll start, you know, inching stuff out to the trailer to get ready to go to Bike Week in March. So anyway, that's pretty much what's going on. So I'd appreciate a little pressure on the drums. Like I said, you know, I think that's probably that way with everybody. If somebody's pushing you a little bit and kind of watching, you tend to get a little more focus on it. So anyway, I hope you liked the video. You know, I wanted to do a nice winter snowplow video, and winter hasn't cooperated. I was actually going to go to Tip-Up Town last weekend and film there, but the lake's all slushy and they got people falling through the ice, and you know, I'm just not going to do that. I don't like the cold, you know, especially the water that's under the ice there. So anyway, you know, subscription would be great. Give me a thumbs up. That gets me a little more on the view list, and just appreciate it all. So have a great day. I'll see you on the next one here. You know, I will admit it's winter time here, and it's a little bit of a depressing time for me, and it's hard to come up with content in the winter, where the summer it just seems to be everywhere. So I guess don't get discouraged. I will have some better videos coming up with some bike stuff on it, and I got some trips planned, and I got a couple events going on that I'm stocking some footage on to be produced like at the end of April or so. So I'm working on that. So anyway, until then, I'll see you on the next one. Good day, everyone. See ya.